Okay, so the recording is also on. नहीं, अभी तक नहीं हुआ है recording start. What's the problem? Okay, great. Someone please remind me at the end that I have to put off this recording and I have to make sure that the file remains in our records. Fine. This is going to be the very fruitful file for even students of next year who are probably going to join. So उनके लिए भी ये एक reference file बिल्कुल हो सकती है in order to see the experience, in order to hear the hierarchy of Joint Commissioner Mumbai Division 4. Guys, are we good to go? Should I ask her to join? Again, feel free to ask questions in Hindi as well. It's completely fine. Language should not be the problem. If something is specifically you want to ask in Hindi, it's completely fine. Go ahead. Commissioners or governance angle में generally they have a good platform for Hindi as well, because still I can see very few students turned up. अपने regular शायद Saturday है, maybe because of that. I'm unsure. Maybe because of Saturday. थर्टी सिक्स 30 40 तो हम लोग को वैसे भी रेगुलर से कम ही है. 45 to 50 is the time we generally see from the point of view of attendance. When it comes to filling attendance, I generally get to see this trend. I don't know, शायद सैटरडे की वजह से शायद कम हो गया आज.
आज फर्स्ट लेक्चर भी नहीं था ऊपर से ऐसा.
अरे हाँ, मॉर्निंग सेक्शन नहीं था. राइट. सो अभी सब घोड़े बेच के सो रहे हैं. फेयर इनफ, मेक सेंस. आई रियलाइज दैट लेटर. राइट. कल रात का मैंने मयूर सर का मैसेज देखा. IF lecture is not there. Chalo, it's 9:44. I'll give her a reminder. Fine, so that she will be able to.
Sir, ma'am.
Sorry?
I think the ma'am have joined.
Yeah, I guess so. Yep, she's there. Hi, Anushri. Am I audible properly? You are not audible, Anushri.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect.
Okay.
So they know most of the things, as you have mentioned in your CV. I've communicated your CV early morning with them. Students here with us are specifically coming from a background of finance. They have an elective of finance when it comes to their undergraduate study, and the stream is management. They have also gone through one semester of direct tax, and again at the introductory level of direct tax, they have gone through these semesters of financial accounting, financial management, accounting for managerial decisions, budgets, cost accounting. So specifically, everything which deals with financials of any company
Okay.
have been done with them. Again, considering semester 5 was specifically regarding direct tax, semester 6 is specifically gives contention to indirect tax. Again, for 2 or 3 years, rather prior to 2018, GST, in fact, indirect tax was not introduced to the syllabus because university was scared that with the updated regime of GST, just after VAT, it was very difficult for a university to bank on the situation that students will not be able to cope up with something like the plethora of GST which it is supposed to offer. Again, the GST from the governance side, from the chartered accountant side, was trying to set it up themselves as a fantastic tax body. So in 2018 onwards, we literally press very hard for something like that. GST should be the part of the syllabus, and in 2019 we got this GST module as a part of syllabus. And this is probably then the second, or rather second batch only to ever go through the GST. Again, GST for them, as I've already communicated, is at a very introductionary stage. They don't have something to deal with, something like a huge compliances, scrutinies, something to deal with assessing officers, commissioners, and something like that. So they are basically more emphasis on, say, evaluation, more emphasis on, say, the rules, understanding the part of supply, goods, services, exemptions, and we generally press more on that because the moment they have the conceptual understanding in a better situation, uh, many of them actually able to then practice the situation with their own business setups. So, as you know, Shri Vileparle Kelvani Mandal is happens to be 50% Gujarati minority speaking college. All the colleges, in fact, under SVK. So we generally fortunate to have a lot of Gujarati students from Gujarati community. Again, 100% it helps to bring in that, a business point of view. And the moment there is a business point of view, a tax point of view is 100% walks in the class. Uh, it does happen so many times in a class that the discussion actually goes out of the topic and actually leads to a situation where we talk a lot about GST, we talk a lot about tax, we also talk a lot about how to save GST, because that's the contention all the time when it comes to as a students from the point of view of business. At the same time, they want to learn various intricacies and the meticulous what do you say conditions which are there in GST, because as you are obviously aware about the meticulous way in which GST was drafted. I keep telling them that the one of the finest fiscal acts, if you read in the country, the one would be the direct tax and another would be a GST, which is coming in 2017. So one has to be very careful in order to interpret that what law says and what law means. So the interpretation is something which they generally lack in at a point of time when it comes to, say, introductory stage to an advanced stage. But I guess the sessions like this where we get to hear something like from the someone who probably I would say from the governing side of the GST, because we get to see a guest sessions or a point of view, even the online session from someone, say, a chartered accountants, a practicing GST practitioners, and their angle is completely different. Fine. Say from my point of view, say I have a business, I have my GST number, blah 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 blah. But when it comes to speaking about practical aspects of GST, the governing aspect is always lost. And what I feel as an academician, as a researcher, that that governance angle has to be very clear from, say, the point of view of students as well, from the point of view of business owners as well, and a point of view of someone who's probably looking at the point of say a GST as one of the goal, because it's inevitable the moment you cross certain turnover in any state you are working, you probably have to get yourself registered under GST. So at a point of time in any business when it comes to growth, the GST is gonna be there all the time. So you can't save yourself from GST. You cannot evade certain taxes, and that's not the motive at which even the academicians like us generally press through. But yes, very excited to understand the governance angle of GST from your end. Students will keep popping up questions. Maybe in chat box they will unmute themselves and ask questions. But just to set up this stage and to begin the conversation, uh, I would love to start with yourself with something like what exactly is the work profile when it comes to the hierarchy of joint commissioner? Because probably even a status like me, it's been 10 years I have done this sales tax and VAT and something like that, maybe excise raids and all through I've gone through when I was doing my articleship way back in June 2011 when I left. Almost 10 years later, I'm seeing someone who's from the official body of taxation. But how does this exactly works? How exactly you reach to a conclusion? Okay, this is to be raided, this is to be scrutinized. This is it based on intuitions? Is it based on certain calculation? What is it? All yours.
Okay. So Lokesh, let me know one thing.
Yeah.
Whether they have been taught the module,
Sorry.
whether they have been taught the module. I mean, have you taught them about the GST Act and this
Yeah,
section?
everything. The syllabus
Everything.
is over.
So the
These are
syllabus is
exactly
over.
the last 2 weeks of the syllabus. Absolutely. Yep,
Fine,
yep,
fine, fine.
yep.
Absolutely. So today I'm not going to bore anyone with any act, any section, any rule, nothing. Okay. This is just an interaction session with all the students. And let me know we are going to have fun and we are going to have some interaction basically. So before starting anything, the question came to me that being a joint commissioner, how the hierarchy goes. So let me tell you, there is one prime body called CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. So that CBIC sitting in Delhi with some 4 members within it, 4 to 5 members sometimes, they actually govern the entire indirect tax in India. Okay. Then the country is divided into many zones. Now each zone has its own commissionerates, GST commissionerates. Okay, then in commissionerate, you will find inspector at a very base level, inspector level officer at a very base level. Above inspector, you will find a superintendent. If आप लोग तो सब गुजराती हो तो आप तो ऑफिस जाते होंगे, GST office if anyone has visited. So let me tell you the hierarchy. So above inspector, आप पहले जाओगे, you will meet inspector outside. Okay, then inspector will ask you कि ये documents नहीं है, ये documents लेके आ जाओ. He will scrutinize and then will tell you, go, you bring these documents, they are not there. Then you will go back home. You will come back again with those documents and you will submit it to the inspector. Now, above inspector, there is a superintendent. Okay, his boss is superintendent. What superintendent will do? Superintendent will go through all those documents and whatever inspector has told him in the file that so and so GST issue is there, he will write his own view and the file will go above him. Now, who sits above superintendent? Above superintendent sits assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner. Actually, assistant commissioner is lower, deputy commissioner is above. I mean, after 4 years, you become deputy commissioner, but at working stage, both of them work like a same authority. Then above deputy commissioner comes joint commissioner. And like assistant commissioner, joint commissioner के ऊपर होता है additional commissioner. So joint commissioner and additional commissioner, they work at a same authority. And above them is the boss called as commissioner. Above commissioner, there is a chief commissioner. Okay, so you got the basic hierarchy. I would like some students may unmute themselves and just participate in the conversation. Okay, so now you got the hierarchy. There is an inspector, then superintendent, then assistant commissioner, then deputy commissioner, then joint commissioner, then additional commissioner, then commissioner, and then chief commissioner. So now, whenever you will go to the GST office, you will understand that which level officer you are talking to. Generally, up to deputy commissioner level, the issues are sorted out. Like whatever doubt you are having, whatever is your problem, that is sorted out at a deputy commissioner level, because deputy commissioner handles a division. One division means certain area of, say, we will take an example of Mumbai. So within Mumbai, suppose you consider the area from Bandra to Malad. Suppose, for example, this entire area comes under one division. Then from Kandivali to say Mira Road comes under another division. And here, if you say from Mahim to say Paral comes under third division. Like that, Mumbai is divided into various divisions. Okay. Each division is headed by a deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner. Each division has two or generally five inspectors and five superintendents. Then that division is divided into some ranges. Like suppose Bandra to Malad if we take. So Bandra to Vile Parle comes like one range. Then Vile Parle to Andheri is another range. Andheri to Jogeshwari, third range. Like that, it is divided into ranges. Each range is headed by a superintendent. Okay. So now you have to find out where is the location of your unit and which division it falls under. Whichever division is fall under, and then all these divisions comprise the commissionerate. Yes, of division and ranges together they form one commissionerate. So one commissionerate is huge. One commissionerate may start from Bandra and may end up till Borivali, or may start from Mira Road and end up till Palghar, or may start at Kulaba and may end up till Dadar. So this is how Mumbai is divided into different GST commissionerates. Okay. Now this is first thing. Second thing, it is divided into state GST and CGST. Now many of you must be thinking, what is this here? I'm state GST or CGST, central GST. So let me clarify this also. What happens? I mean, what happened when GST started? What happened? We combined all the indirect taxes. Okay, so service tax, excise, VAT, everything got combined. And in this combining procedure, what happened? Some taxes from state and some taxes from central government, they came together. So now state government people said that we also want our assessee, and central government said we also want our assessee. So what happened that all the assessees were divided into state and central. So your unit, if suppose it is located at Bandra West, suppose if it is located at Bandra West, you have to first find out whether it comes under state GST or CGST, central GST. It has nothing to do with taxation. It is just the allotment. कि आप SGST के अंदर आते हो, आपका यूनिट जब भी ये डिवीजन किया गया, that time whether your unit was allotted to CGST or to SGST. It can be CGST, it can be SGST. Then you have to find out which commissionerate I fall into, and then you have to find out which division I fall into. Okay, so that you get your location, and then division and commissionerate ka office kahan hai, then you go to the office and submit your documents. Is it clear, all of you? Anyone can unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is what is a practically it happens, that you have to first find out whether you come under SGST or CGST. Now the issue is, if you come under SGST, you have to pay all the three taxes: CGST, SGST, IGST. That you have to pay. But it is just the allocation that whether your unit comes under state GST or central GST. And whether you are in CGST, then also it's okay. You have to pay central GST, state GST, and IGST as applicable. Okay, so this is how the unit goes. Now let us come to the fundamentals. Now I have told you the government structure. How is the government structure? And whatever your units are, wherever you are starting the unit, you have to find this first, whether which division I am in. No, first, whether I am in CGST or SGST, whether I am in which commissionerate I fall into, and then which division I fall into. Okay, so any unit in Mumbai is divided into these three basic things. Now, tell me what is the difference between direct tax and indirect tax. Let us have it in interaction section, and I am not going to go in any rule, any law, any section. Just a normal basic understanding I am going to do. So, can anyone tell me what is the difference between direct tax and indirect tax? क्या फर्क है दोनों में? How it goes? anything.
Ma'am, indirect
Yes.
indirect tax, the final incidence is on the person itself, and in indirect tax, the incidence is passed on to another person.
Indirect tax, it passed to the another person. Can you give me the
The
example?
final consumer.
Ha.
For example, the income tax which we pay is for ourselves. Each and every person pays it for himself or herself. And indirect tax like GST, it is passed on from wholesaler to retailer, then retailer to the final customer, and the final customer pays GST.
Yes. तो फंडामेंटल डिफरेंस इज, अगर मुझे इनकम टैक्स पे करना है तो मेरी सैलरी में से कुछ परसेंटेज मैं डायरेक्टली गवर्नमेंट को दे दूंगी. ठीक है, आई हैव टू पे टैक्स एनीवेज. सो in direct taxes, if I'm getting a salary of say 10,000 rupees, then out of 10,000 rupees, some 1,000 rupees I will give directly to the government kitty. And indirect tax, in indirect tax what happens, I go to the hotel, I eat Shezwan rice, 100 rupees bill is there, and some GST 5 rupees suppose. So 5 rupees I give from my pocket to the hotel manager, right? And then it is the responsibility of the hotel manager to give that GST to government. I think someone is, yeah. So did you get the difference between these two? Direct tax, from my account, it will directly go to the government. Indirect tax or GST, I will give it to the hotel manager. If I eat in the hotel, I give it to hotel manager, and hotel manager responsibility is to give that tax to the government. Okay. तो अब यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम शुरू हो जाता है. क्या प्रॉब्लम शुरू हो जाता है? हेलो, yeah, can someone unmute? I think who is,
Mark, can you unmute yourself? Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Okay. So problem यहाँ शुरू हो जाता है. What is the problem? That I am paying 5 rupees to the hotel manager, and in my mind, I perceive that that hotel manager will pay my 5 rupees to the government, right? So मैं किसके भरोसे ये टैक्स भर रही हूँ? मैं जो इंटरमीडिएट जो कलेक्टर है टैक्स का, जो मेरा टैक्स कलेक्ट करके गवर्नमेंट को देगा, उसको उसके भरोसे आई एम पेइंग द टैक्स, इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. It is going from my pocket only, but I am giving it to the hotel person. Hotel person will give it to government. Now how many of you go and check with the hotel manager whether they have paid your tax to the government kitty or not? Has anyone went to the hotel again and asked कि अरे लास्ट मंथ में तुम्हारे होटल में आया था, मैंने 500 रुपए का बिल किया था, उसमें GST पे किया था, मुझे डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिखाओ, तुमने वो गवर्नमेंट को दिया कि नहीं दिया? Anyone has done that? I don't think so. Not even a that. Correct. But this is how the tax is collected. Indirect tax is collected and deposited to the government kitty. So obviously the problem starts here. The hotel person will say, I have collected 2 lakhs of GST. मैं भरूंगा ही नहीं गवर्नमेंट को. गवर्नमेंट को पता कैसे चलेगा? If I am collecting from all the people indirect tax and it is my responsibility to pay it to the government kitty, I will not pay it to government kitty. And which person will come to me asking me ki show me the documents whether my tax, my money which I gave to you to pay to the government, you have paid to the government or not? Nobody, right? Second thing, what happens, I'm just telling you in general how GST goes. So first conceptual clarity, you came indirect taxes, that indirect taxes you are giving to someone and that person is then paying to the government. So you have to be very careful in paying indirect taxes. Second, hotel में और क्या होता है? You go to the hotel, you see the bill, 500 rupees food you have taken, GST, some GST you have paid. Then नीचे होता है service charges, right? Service charges 50 rupees. And now on 50 rupees, they are asking GST of say 5 rupees. So this is too much. Like service charges are illegal. No hotel can put service charges in the bill. And they are charging GST on the illegal amount, right? So the entire 50 rupees and plus 5 rupees, 55 rupees from your pocket, which is illegal, you are giving it to the hotel people in the case of service charges. And practically what happens? You go to the hotel, you go with your family, you are having good time. Bill aa jata hai 500 rupees for 55 rupees. And then what happens? That you don't mind giving money to them, right? You just give, अरे ठीक है यार, क्या करना है, क्यों इतना टेंशन लेना है, give 500 rupees to them, pay GST on them, then give service charges on them, pay GST on the service charge also them. So 55 rupees extra, which is he's not going to pay to any government, he is eating that money, right? And there are those money he is looting from whom? He is looting from you and me and any of such common man who is going to go to eat in his hotel, right? So,
Ma'am,
yeah,
ma'am, but in every bill, in small words, they have written in the bottom that we can remove the service charges if we want, but it's very
correct.
small.
Yes, what happens, this is also when government took stringent action on them, they started writing this in below the bill. But tell me, if 100 people are coming per day, how many of them are actually going and saying कि मैं सर्विस चार्ज नहीं दूंगा? जो भी ऐसा करता है, लोग उसको देखते हैं, यार जाने दो ना, उसके रिलेटिव्स बोलते हैं जाने दो ना, क्या है इतना छोटा सा तो चार्ज है. No, my point is, this is how the fraud happens, and the fraud is happening with you, me, any of the common man, right? So you have to be very careful. Matlab, see, it is, the study is not just you study GST, it is applicability of GST. So whenever next time you go to the hotel, you be careful what bill they are putting up to you. This is the first thing. Second thing, anywhere you have to check what is the rate of GST. Now we will go next to the next point. Now what happens, you got what is direct tax and what is indirect tax. Now what happened, that some of the indirect taxes were service tax and excise, and some of them were VAT. Now what was the difference? That VAT, value added tax, was with state government, and service tax and excise, central excise, was with central government initially. Then what happened, then some think tank, like they thought that all the indirect taxes can be merged and only one rate can be put on them. Because what used to happen, if I'm a manufacturer, I used to pay service tax, I used to pay excise, I used to pay VAT, and then I used to end up paying huge amount of taxes. Many a time it was double taxation. So to avoid the double taxation, what government did, they merged all the taxes. And merging of the taxes was a tedious task, because entire state government taxes, octroi, state government, local government, all indirect taxes were merged together and form only one tax, that is goods and service tax, GST. Now within GST there are different types of rates were put on, because many items had different types of rates initially. In VAT, different items had different rates. In service tax, different types of taxation was there, percentage of taxation was there, excise, different items different. So they all sat in a GST council, and what they thought, that let us make a list of the items and let us decide what percentage GST should be paid if we merge all these taxes. And then they put the percentage 5%, 12%, 18%. तो जो आइटम बहुत महंगे हैं उनको 18%, because the person who is using those items is capable to pay that much money. And also it was before GST, they were already having high taxes, excise. So they merged all the items and they concluded that what is the percentage of taxation. Now whenever you go out and pay GST, just find out what is the rate of taxation, whether it is 18%, whether it is 12%, or whether it is 5%. Because what happens, somewhere the tax is 12%, some item the tax is 12%, and the person in your invoice which he is giving you, he puts the tax 18%. Now how many of you are cross checking whether this item comes under 15%, sorry, 12% or 18%? I don't think so. Out of 100, only 1 or 2 must be checking that whether this rate of GST, whatever is applied on the bill, is correct or not, right? You see the invoice, acha, ye hai, or 18% GST, total amount this much, you pay and you get free. But what happens, the actual GST amount or GST percent, applicability of GST percent is just 12%. So 6% it is in his pocket. And from whom? From you, no one else. Like any common man who is paying for it. So what, and then what they do, they file the return with 12%, but they collect from you at 18%. So 6% profit. So actually, you I am telling you all the methods to what mess with GST, but that's what's happening. And as a common man, me as a common man, you as a common man, whoever we are paying a GST, we have to be very careful regarding these aspects. And especially you people who are doing so much in finance, learning so much of finance, you should be aware about the GST law, and not only GST law, the applicability of GST in your common daily life. So this
Ma'am.
is what is happening. Yes.
Ma'am,
Yeah, ma'am. So I was asking the food and beverage that comes under that is restaurant wala section. So
Yes.
ma'am, under blocked credits, which is I think section 17. So ma'am, I don't think ITC is available to food and
No.
beverages.
No, that's not available. But that is the another fraud it's happening, no? That they are selling you, and then while filing return, they give that value under ITC, input tax credit, which is not available to them. So our government job starts with the scrutiny of it, that whether whatever they are asking, whether it is genuinely comes under ITC or it doesn't come under ITC. Right. So now I'm as a government agent talking to you, because I want to tell you what kind of frauds are happening. So first thing, I want to tell you कि भैया आप लोग कॉमन मैन हो, मैं भी कॉमन मैन हूँ, जो भी कॉमन मैन है जाते हैं बाहर और जो भी खरीदते हैं, एटलीस्ट यू शुड बी अवेयर इन दिस सेंस कि whether you are paying correct GST or not, and whether you are not cheated in that. Next is input tax credit, which is a very complex subject for us. Yes.
Ma'am, the thing which you told that they charge 18% and they pay 12%. For that, ma'am, from 1st April, businesses with 50 plus 50 crore turnover, they have to file GST directly on the portal. Like they have to make bills on the portal of the government. So, do you think in the future that with people with lesser turnover will also have to file GST, like make bills on the government portal directly?
Yeah, it will come, but it will take time, because you know, in India, so many businesses are there, crores and crores of business people are there, and it is really difficult for them to file returns directly. See, we were working in the handicraft section of GST Council. I was there, and really the situation was so bad. You know, handicraft, the people are very poor. Those who are like doing the actual work, they are very poor. And what GST law says, that whoever is the supplier or job worker, he has to file the GST return. Now suppose I am job worker and you are my boss, and if I fail to file GST return, then it is you who is responsible, and you will have to file GST return on behalf of me, or whatever tax I have not paid, you have to pay. This is what the initial law says. So those people used to say that these people are so poor कि उनके पास मोबाइल भी नहीं है, कहाँ से इंटरनेट लेके आएंगे, कहाँ से जीएसटी रिटर्न भरेंगे, right? So then the law got modified. So it is all there that 2017, when it started, after that so many amendments came because of these practical issues. And what you're asking is absolutely right, but it will take time. It will take time, not so early. It will happen eventually. Everything, all the modifications will happen eventually. It will take time. Okay, now can anyone tell me what type of returns do we file if you are collecting GST? Now we will come one step ahead, that now you are not a common man. Now you are a businessman who is collecting GST from other people. So now it is your responsibility to pay it to the government, right? So what type of returns you are filing? Return means what? Return means whatever you have collected, you have to show and give accounts of the same. That okay, I have collected from 50 people this much amount, and so I'm paying to the government all the amount which I have collected, right? So for that you have to file GST return. Now what is GST return? I mean, how many returns are there? Can anyone tell me? Or don't tell me about the number of returns, just normal returns which a person or businessman has to file. If suppose you are a businessman, which returns you will file monthly?
Outward
GST
supplies,
and
inward
Purchase and
supplies.
sales.
Outward supply is GSTR 1, right?
And
Inward,
BG
GSTR 2.
3B 2 and 1. Yeah, that's correct.
that's right. Okay, so first you return you have to file is GSTR 1. GSTR 1 means outward supply. Outward supply. Just remember this. I mean, don't by heart anything. Just a common discussion, and you will understand. GSTR 1 is a supply. Whatever you have supplied, that you have to file in GSTR 1. GSTR 2 you need not file. To whom you have supplied, he will file his return and that will pop up against your return. So GSTR 2 automatically will come in your account. And then GSTR 3B, which is a final return, like your outward supply and your inward supply. Both will merge and final this thing return will file you have to file is GSTR 3B. And then GSTR 9, which is the annual return. In annual return, you file for entire year. Now, why annual return we have to file again? Because sometimes it happens that this month I have supplied something to some person, says person B. I supplied to him, but he did not give me any money of it. He said, मैं दूंगा 6 महीने के बाद आ जाओ, मैं 6 महीने के बाद पैसे दूंगा, मेरे पास अभी पैसे नहीं है. ठीक है? Suppose some inward supply has come to you. You tell that person कि अभी मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, 2 महीने के बाद मेरा रिफंड आ जाएगा, उसके बाद मैं पैसा दे दूंगा. So such thing happens so frequently that you have to file the annual return considering all these expenses and incomes. And so annual return has been kept separately than GSTR 3B, which is to be filed monthly. So GSTR 9 is the annual return where all such money which has come, which has received after certain period also, they all are merged in GSTR 9, which is your annual return. So you have to remember only major 4 returns: GSTR 1, which is outward supply; GSTR 2, which is inward, but that will pop up against the person to whom you have supplied; GSTR 3B, which is a monthly return, which is total of GSTR 2 and 1, and GSTR 9, which is the annual return, which you have to pay annually. Okay, then what is the next thing is reverse charge mechanism. Can anyone tell me by example what is reverse charge mechanism? Very simple concept, but name is very big. हम सोचते हैं ये क्या है reverse charge mechanism, something complex, but it is not at all complex. It is very simple. If you have understood the basic of indirect taxes, you will understand reverse charge mechanism very easily. Anyone knows reverse charge mechanism? Yes.
Yeah. So in forward charge mechanism, the tax is, the ITC is available and it is passed on to the next person. But in RCM, the recipient has to file the tax directly to the government and he cannot avail ITC for that.
Correct. So very simple language, I will tell you the example. Suppose you go into the hotel and you don't pay tax to the hotel. You say that I will pay tax to the government. I will file the return to the government directly. So that is a reverse charge mechanism. Okay. This is a very crude concept, but very easy to understand. That the direct recipient, the person who is eating food, is directly paying to the government, is called as reverse charge mechanism. And you apply this reverse charge mechanism concept anywhere. That so many of the services are there in which reverse charge mechanism concept is there, that you have to pay the taxes under reverse charge mechanism. Like a taxi cab service. Suppose you are some manager in the office. So whichever taxi or cab services you are taking into consideration for your employees, you have to pay the tax for it, and this is called as reverse charge mechanism. So you can go through it, that how many services are there in which you have to give reverse charge mechanism, that you go from the website. So the concept is clear. What is reverse charge mechanism? The person directly pays to the government. He will not pay to the hotel manager. He will say, no, I don't trust, I will directly pay to the government. I will file return and will pay to the government. Obviously, No one can say that unless and until
Hello, ma'am.
you notified. Yes, the services are specific and they are notified. In these services only reverse charge mechanism will go, and this so the receiver, they directly file to the government and they pay kitty to the government kitty directly. Okay, you're clear about this up till now? Conceptual clarity is there?
Ma'am, does this happen in reality?
Does this? Yes, it has to happen. No, it has to happen. Means if you are giving some services which comes under reverse charge mechanism, then government authorities will see, okay, this is in RCM, whether he has paid in the RCM, then it's, I mean, that's what our duty is, no, to scrutinize your accounts, whichever services you have to pay under RCM, whether you have paid in RCM or not, like that. See, now the thing happens is, in India, no one likes to pay tax, and that is a truth. आपके पॉकेट को हाथ लगाए कोई भी और कोई पैसे निकाले आपके पॉकेट से, ये किसी को भी पसंद नहीं है, वेदर इट इज फॉर कंट्री और वेदर इट इज फॉर योर स्टेट. Nobody likes that someone collecting tax from you, but you have to pay the tax. So tax is something like you don't pay it willingly, you have to pay. So whichever things you have to do, there is must be some monitoring authority which looks after you whether you have paid or it or not, right? So under such mentality or the tax evasion starts. Because everyone thinks that why I should pay this much. No, I will not follow the rule, I will pay less, let them catch me. And so we catch them. So now the question also came that how the raids happen. रेड्स कैसे हम लोग डालते हैं जीएसटी में? हमने इतने सारे रेड्स डाले और इतने सारे अरेस्ट किए हैं, कैसे करते हैं हम लोग अरेस्ट? क्यों, मतलब क्यों होता है ऐसा? क्या टैक्स चोरी क्या कैसे होती है? तो वन मेजर इशू in GST is of fake invoices. Before going to fake invoices, let us go to input tax credit concept, ITC. So do you know what is input tax credit? Can anyone tell me? Do you know what is input
Yes,
tax?
ma'am.
Huh.
Ma'am, if I'm having some business and I'm supplying goods, so I'm already paying tax to the government.
Right.
And in return, I don't have to pay the tax. The final person has to pay the tax, the customer. So I need to extract that tax from him. So for that, I file input tax credit that I want that money back from the government because I am not the final person who is consuming the goods.
Correct. So I will just simplify for all of them. I will simplify with the example. Suppose I am a manufacturer. Suppose this is a mobile. This is a mobile and I am a manufacturer of this mobile. Now to manufacture this mobile, I had to use the material, outer material, the battery material, inside whatever thing is there, that I have to manufacture. And while manufacturing all this, the camera equipment, everything. Now while manufacturing this, suppose whatever material I'm purchasing, I had to pay tax. And what tax I have paid? Like suppose 500 rupees tax I have paid. And then when I give it to the seller, again I have to pay the tax. But then I will say that while manufacturing, I have already paid the taxes. Then again, if I pay all the taxes, suppose 500 rupees का चीज है, ठीक है, उसमें 350 रुपए का मेरा रॉ मटेरियल है, 350 का मैंने ऑलरेडी टैक्स पे किया है. So, and if I'm selling it to 500 rupees to someone else who will then again sell it to the final consumer, I would like to take back my tax which I had already paid while manufacturing. Otherwise it will be double taxation हो जाएगा. So whatever tax I had already paid, which I claim after selling it, is called as input tax credit. That is my tax credit, ITC. Now what happens? So many things whichever you are manufacturing, within those manufacturing things, if I start putting up fake invoices. Like invoice तो मैंने बना दिया, पर मैंने मोबाइल तो बनाया ही नहीं. But I have invoice in my computer कि I have prepared, manufactured like this 100 mobiles I have manufactured. हाँ, suppose ये मेरा accounting में मैंने डाल दिया, and within those 100 mobiles I claim input tax credit of say 50,000 rupees. But in reality, not even a single phone was manufactured. So whichever claim I claim 50,000 input tax credit, it is all about because of the fake invoices which I have generated. And this is a big scam in any indirect taxes. By putting up such fake invoices and by creating a fake input tax credit amount, people are looting the country like anything. And our job just now, last month, our intelligence agency 1,000 crore rupees in fraud invoices and the input tax credit, whichever was applicable on it, was unearthed by our intelligence agency. So this is the biggest fraud which is happening in India right now. And it becomes very difficult for the government agencies to find out whether which agency is actually supplying with the fake invoices. Okay. So are you clear about the input tax credit concept and how the fake
Yes, ma'am.
invoice
Yes, ma'am.
generation actually hampering the Indian economy? I hope you got the concept. Like fake in देखो अगर fake आ गया, input tax credit ही पूरा ही fake है, then all that money and all that tax money is not there, and they are showing that it is already paid, right? So this is the biggest fraud which is happening in the country right now, which the GST authorities are unearthing. Okay.
So, ma'am, they make fake invoices, right?
Yeah. They make fake invoices, they give fake accounts of the fake ITC, and then they claim that ITC for paying the tax, their tax, which is not available to them. Okay. Next thing, yeah. Next problems are, yeah, tell me.
Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, how do you find out that these invoices are fake or these invoices are original?
Yes, for that purpose, actually, our intelligence agencies, we actually send people to, it is called as Reiki. It is called as a Reiki. Like if we file, if we see some returns, some suppose they have paid a tax of suppose 4 crore rupees, 3 crore rupees, 1 lakh rupee, whatever. So what we do, we just send our people to just verify whether such factory really exists or not. And when our people, intelligence people, they go and find out there is no factory at all at that place, or there is no such office in the given address, or the office whichever was there is locked, and just no one is working. And but whatever they are showing in the return is that they are all showing that this much quantity of material has gone out, this much quantity of services we have allotted, but in reality there is no office at that place. So this is how we find out that this case might be of the fake invoices, and then we do more research with them. We keep a watch on those people who are filing the returns, and this is how we find out. And then we plan a raid on its locations, and also wherever whoever is doing this mischief, we find out them, and in the raid the arrest happens actually.
Right. What I heard from my friend कि वो लोग बोलते थे कि वो पार्टी अभी कहाँ पर है, क्या है उसका हमें कुछ भी पता नहीं है, वो पार्टी शायद अभी नहीं है, एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर रही, बट पहले वो थी। मैम वो लोग ऐसा आंसर करते तो उसके लिए मैम क्या रहता है?
नहीं, हम लोग तो फाइंड आउट कर ही लेते हैं ना, अभी नहीं है लेकिन कहीं से तो जीएसटी रिटर्न तो फाइल हो रहे हैं ना। तो जीएसटी रिटर्न कहाँ से फाइल हो रहा है, कौन उनका जीएसटी रिटर्न फाइल कर रहा है, वो किसको सप्लाई कर रहे हैं, वी फाइंड आउट देयर सप्लायर्स। अगर सपोज आई एम द फ्रॉडुलेंट पर्सन, ठीक है, I am not running any office, but I am filing all the fake invoices and fake GST returns, and I'm claiming huge input tax credit, which I'm using to counter my taxation. So गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटीज मेरे पास पहुंच गई, उन्होंने देखा अरे ये तो बंद है, पूरा ऑफिस ही बंद है, कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पे, बट देन मैं जो रिटर्न फाइल कर रही हूँ वहां पे सप्लायर्स के भी नाम आते हैं, राइट? मैं जिनको दे रही हूँ उनके रिसीवर्स के भी नाम आते हैं, तो उनमें से कोई ना कोई तो मिल ही जाता है, और एक बार एक भी मिल गया तो उससे वो पूरा लिंक कंप्लीट हो जाता है. But it's a tedious task. Any raid is like a tedious task. We take around बहुत ज्यादा टाइम चला जाता है हमारा, इस रिसर्च में ही बहुत ज्यादा टाइम चला जाता है.
राइट.
मैम
और बहुत सारे बाकी भी मेथड्स होते हैं, जैसे कोई अगर पर्सन टैक्स पे कर रहा है, देखो जो भी इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट फेक इनवॉइसेस जनरेट कर रहा है, ही ट्राइज टू शो ऑफ ज्यादा. ये मतलब एक बात समझ लो, मेरा अगर इनवॉइस हाई वैल्यू का है तो मेरा इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट भी हाई वैल्यू का है, और अगर ये पूरा फेक है तो मेरा बेनिफिट भी बहुत ज्यादा है, करेक्ट? तो दैट पर्सन ट्राइज टू शो ऑफ हिज amount of supply or whatever he is supplying or manufacturing, he tries to show off. और अगर इतना बड़ा बिजनेस है और अगर उस लोकेशन पे कुछ भी नहीं है तो इट प्रूव्स दैट इट इज ऑल फेक. अब वो किसको सप्लाई कर रहा है, कहाँ से उसको सप्लाई आ रहा है, वो पता करवाना इतना डिफिकल्ट काम नहीं होता है, और वहां से ये लिंक पूरी लग जाती है, एंड देन रेड हैपेंस ऑन ऑल ऑफ देम. द पर्सन हु इज putting up fake invoices, the person who is purchasing fake invoices, and the person whoever they are helping the generator of the fake invoices, उन सबको actually arrest हो जाती है उसमें. Right.
Ma'am.
हाँ.
Ma'am, another income tax input. If I'm having one business and I'm purchasing something for my personal use, and I show that I am using it in the business, so can I claim for the input tax credit?
No, you are not supposed to claim for input tax credit. That also we need to find out now. My personal, matlab the thing you are using for your personal benefit, but you are showing that it is being used for the manufacture, like that you are saying. So something you purchased.
Yes, ma'am.
That's your question, na? Ki something you purchased, you used it for your personal use, but in your returns you have shown that it is being used for the manufacturing purpose, and so you claimed ITC. No, such thing also we find out.
So, ma'am, does this happen often, or fake invoicing is there?
No. Fake invoices happens often actually, rather than this. This also happens, but in a larger quantity, not in a smaller quantity. जो पर्सनल यूज वाला है ना, पर्सनल यूज कितना करोगे, मतलब उसका क्वांटिटी भी उतना ही होता है ना. सो दे आर लेसर वन, बट फेक इनवॉइसेस फ्रॉड्स आर, मतलब गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटीज का we go mad behind the fake invoices thing actually. So much research we have to do. Then the next yeah,
ma'am, one question opinion I would like to ask actually. Ma'am, is there any role of politician when it comes to raid? If you go to the... Generally, no, that's a very frank question. Generally revenue service like income tax or GST, and we don't have much interaction with the politicians. Frankly speaking, politicians, we don't have any influence from them. So I don't think so. When I was in the intelligence agency of GST, I never had a single call. Once we arrested one person whose relative was with Rashtrawadhi Congress, and so many people told us नहीं इसका शरद पवार का फोन आ जाएगा, ये आ जाएगा, but किसी का फोन नहीं आया. मतलब they also know कि there is no use, because it is such a legally proved system, no, that even an officer can't do much. See, when you have done fraud, you have done fraud. अब आप बोलोगे कि पॉलिटिशियन कहेगा नहीं फ्रॉड नहीं है, तो इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम टू प्रूव, बिकॉज वी ऑलरेडी हैव सो मेनी एविडेंसेस that they really can't escape. And I don't know why, but since beginning, I think from independence, after independence only, revenue service has very less interaction with these politicians or influenced by the politicians. It is not much.
because why, you know, I feel why it is not a criminal offense in India. If you do economic offense, is not a criminal offense in India. It is like आप चोरी करोगे टैक्स की तो आपको फांसी तो नहीं होगी फॉर श्योर, आपको जेल हो जाएगी, दैट्स इट. उसके ज्यादा मतलब इट डजंट गो बियॉन्ड दैट. बट जेल होना भी बहुत ज्यादा तकलीफ देता है. आई हैव सीन पीपल, यू नो, आज मर्सिडीज में घूम रहे हैं, कल जेल में है, एंड दे रियली आर लाइक दे कांट स्टे इन जेल. जो आज मर्सिडीज से जा रहा है वो आप बोलोगे उसको तिहाड़ जेल में डालो और रोज का सारे गुंडों के साथ बैठो, तो इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम. बट दैट इज द मैक्सिमम पनिशमेंट यू गेट फॉर इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंस इन द कंट्री, विच वी आर फाइटिंग फॉर, दैट दे शुड गेट मोर पनिशमेंट. But that much punishment is only for them. That's why politicians are not much interfering actually.
Okay, okay.
Yes, yes. Then non-payment of tax is another one. कि मैंने आपसे कलेक्ट कर लिया टैक्स, मैंने गवर्नमेंट को दिया ही नहीं, जो कलेक्ट किया है सब मैंने खा लिया. तो ऐसे लोगों को तो पहले पकड़ना चाहिए, because they have collected from common man. Especially it happens with your marriage halls. Marriage hall को आप जो इतना पैसा देते हो, इतने बड़े बड़े मैरिजेस करते हो, जो डेकोरेटर होता है, डेकोरेटर आपसे कितने पैसे ले लेता है, उस पे जीएसटी भी कलेक्ट कर लेता है. जो लाइटिंग वाला है वो अलग से कलेक्ट कर लेता है. होटल का जो फूड कॉन्ट्रैक्टर है वो आपसे पैसे ले लेता है, उस पे जीएसटी भारी भरकम ले लेता है. शादी है तो आप सब पे कर लेते हो, सब कुछ दे देते हो, और वो लोग कुछ पे नहीं करते गवर्नमेंट को, खुद खा लेते हैं. तो ऐसे लोगों को तो पकड़ना, गवर्नमेंट इज मतलब बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रिंजेंट है. Those who have collected from common man and not paid to the government, they should be punished first. Okay, then short payment. मैंने आपसे 20 लाख रुपीस का जीएसटी ले लिया, गवर्नमेंट को सिर्फ 10 लाख ही दिया, 10 लाख मैंने खुद ले लिया. तो such people are also next on the target, that who are cheating common people. Then fake documents. Third problem is fake documents. They generate fake documents. They show lesser income. मतलब एक हमने रेड किया था द बिगेस्ट सलून इन मुंबई. सलून, यू अंडरस्टैंड, वो जो बहुत महंगे वाले सलून होते हैं, बड़े बड़े लोग वहां जाते हैं बाल काटने के लिए. मतलब एक बाल काटने के लिए ही 1000 रुपीज, 2000 रुपीज, दैट्स देयर बेसिक रेट, स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 2000 रुपीज. So we were just finding out their returns, and he has not shown anything, just a meager income. And when we put it on Google, तो Google पे तो बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बातें थी उनके उसकी. तो हमने सोचा कि चलो इस पे ही रेट डाल देते हैं. बट रेट तो ऐसे डाली नहीं जाती, यू हैव टू हैव इंफॉर्मेशन. सो बिफोर रेड द फर्स्ट थिंग डन इज रेकी. रेकी मतलब क्या होता है कि जो जीएसटी ऑफिसर होते हैं वही उनके कस्टमर बन के जाते हैं और सारी इंफॉर्मेशन निकाल लेते हैं. तो हमने क्या किया, फिर वी वेंट टू द सलून फॉर सम फेशियल और समथिंग. गए अंदर, देखा पूरा, तो बहुत बड़ा सलून था. मतलब रिटर्न में तो बता रहा है कि बस इतना सा, सपोज 10,000 का मेरा इनकम है, और एक्चुअल में सलून आप देखोगे मुंबई के बहुत एक्सपेंसिव एरिया में, तो दिन में 50 लाख का इसका इनकम होगा, इतना बड़ा सलून था. तो देन वी टुक द फोटोग्राफ्स ऑफ हिज प्राइस कार्ड कि इतना इतना इसका, मतलब 2000 से तो बेसिक स्टार्ट हो रहा था. इट वाज स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 2000 रुपीज फॉर वन सिंपल हेयर कट. देन वी वर जस्ट अ कस्टमर, अ नॉर्मल कस्टमर. फिर होने के बाद हमने वहां पूछना शुरू किया ऐसे ही कि यहाँ पे तो इतना दूर आते हैं, सपोज तो मतलब दादर में है क्या, ऐसा कोई सलून अब दादर में होने वाला है क्या? तो द गर्ल्स वर देयर, दे वर अ नॉर्मल गर्ल रिसेप्शनिस्ट एंड ऑल. दे स्टार्टेड टेलिंग अस, हाँ हाँ मैडम, ये तो बहुत ज्यादा, ये तो 2-3 जगह और हम लोग खुलवा रहे हैं. आपको अगर प्रॉब्लम है तो आप मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल कुलाबा भी जा सकते हैं, दादर भी जा सकते हैं, विले पार्ले में भी आ सकते हैं, तीनों जगह हम खोल रहे हैं. हमने कहा अच्छा, और कितनी जगह आपका सलून है? फिर दे स्टार्टेड, नहीं परल में भी है, अंधेरी में भी है. एंड इन रिटर्न ही हैज नॉट शोन एनीथिंग. ना परल का कोई है रिटर्न फाइल किया हुआ है, ना अंधेरी का कोई सलून का रिटर्न फाइल किया हुआ है. सो देन वी गॉट टू नो, अच्छा ये ऐसा है ऐसा है. जरा हमने कहा फिर एड्रेस दे दीजिए, अंधेरी का एड्रेस दे दीजिए, हमारे फ्रेंड्स वहां रहते हैं तो वहां चले जाएंगे. तो वो बेचारे रिसेप्शनिस्ट ने सारे एड्रेस दे दिए, उसके सारे सलून के सारे एड्रेस दे दिए. फिर वहां गए, वहां पे भी हमने देखा तो बहुत बड़े बड़े सलून थे. And he was earning huge, driving Audi car, and filing returns of just 1 lakh and 2 lakh per month, which was Miagar. Now the problem is he was eating all the money which rich people were going there, doing their facial, everything, were paying GST as usual, and he was eating all their GST. तो उस पे फिर हमने बहुत बड़ी रेड करवा ली, एंड ही वाज अरेस्टेड इन दैट रेड, एंड बहुत सारा क्या कहते हैं उसमें रेवेन्यू रिकवरी वाज वेरी हाई बिकॉज आप सोचो कि जो मंथली 5 लाख जिसको भरने हैं वो सिर्फ 500 रुपीज का टैक्स पे कर रहा है, तो कितने सालों से चला रहा है, उसकी पूरी रिकवरी मिला के ही सब 20-25 करोड़ की तो उससे ज्यादा रिकवरी हुई थी उस केस में. So this is how the cases are done, Reikis are done, and these are all insider information, but you will never come to know who is coming to you as a real customer and who is coming to you as GST officer. So government is watching everyone, and we have all the data with us. It is just that manpower थोड़ी कम है इसीलिए, otherwise तो such thieves, we call them thieves, we are not sparing any of them. And these all are like fraudulent things in GST which are happening, fake ITC, fake invoices, then non-payment of GST, short payment of GST, and producing fake documents. Any question? Next.
मैम द रेड मैम व्हिच यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, ये रेड ये सर्च एंड सीजर के अंडर आता है एक्ट के?
हाँ, ये सर्च एंड सीजर के अंडर आता है. कमिश्नर ऑथोराइज कर लेता है सर्च एंड सीजर को, एंड द टीम गोज एंड विद द अथॉरिटी ऑफ सर्च एंड सीजर, देन वी सीज द डॉक्यूमेंट्स, वी सीज द व्हाटएवर डॉक्यूमेंट्स वी आर गेटिंग. जैसे कि अगर सलून है, एक एग्जांपल दिया हमने, ऐसे बहुत सारे रेड किए हैं, दिस वाज जस्ट वन एग्जांपल. तो अगर आप अगर ऑफिसर है तो आप जाओगे, जब भी रेड होगी तो ये लोग क्या करते थे, एक बुक रखते थे जिसमें पेंसिल से अपॉइंटमेंट्स लिखते जाते थे, एंड दे यूज्ड टू देन लाइक डिलीट ऑल दिस प्रीवियस डेटा. क्योंकि क्या होता है, जैसे आप सलून में अगर आप रिसेप्शनिस्ट हो, आपको फोन आता है कि आज मेहंदी का प्रोग्राम है एंड वी ऑल आर गोइंग फॉर मैरिज, ये तो 10 लोगों का है, तो ये लोग क्या करते थे, पेंसिल से सिर्फ वो लिख लेते थे. देयर वाज नो डिजिटल रिकॉर्ड ऑफ एनी ऑफ देयर services. So when we get the power of seizure, we seize such documents. तो ऐसे तो हमने इतने सारे इनके डायरीज निकाल लिए और उसमें इन्होंने इतना सारा डेटा छुपाया था, मतलब इतने सारे अपॉइंटमेंट्स थे इनके और इतना सारा इन्होंने जीएसटी कलेक्ट किया था, और कंप्यूटर में सिर्फ उसमें से 20% ही डाला था, 80% तो इट वाज नॉट पुट इन एनी रिटर्न और एनीवेयर. So that's why the power of seizure is very important. सर्च तो ठीक है, आप सर्च कर लोगे हर जगह, लेकिन why seizure is important, because we seize such documents where the evidences of evasion of GST is there.
But ma'am, for seizure or attachment, yes. I think ma'am some magistrate order is required, na?
No, it's a commissioner's order. Commissioner gives seizure order. But then for arrest, after arrest, magistrate order comes. Not before arrest. Seizure order is given by local commissionerate level commissioner.
Ma'am, but whatever you seize, you have to first make a panchnama, na?
Haan, we make panchnama. What is difficult in that? Panchnama is what? Panchnama is all the records of whatever things you have seized, and you have to have 2 independent persons who signs on it. जैसे कि अगर आपका दुकान है और मैंने रेट डाली, तो आपके अगर मैंने 4 डायरीज ले ली है तो मैं पंचनामा में लिखूंगी कि मैंने 4 डायरीज ली हुई है, इसका नंबर ये टू ये है, इसका कवर ये है और इसमें ये चीज लिखी हुई है. उसके नीचे 2 इंडिपेंडेंट पर्सन्स, whoever they are, other than the person who is on whom raid is there and other than the person who the GST officers, 2 independent person, we have to take signature on it. So after seizure there is a panchnama, correct? That is called panchnama.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, do you all believe in random tips given by local people, or do you all go through the evidence? Like...
Yes, no random tips. See, people, we have informants also. See, whatever we are talking right now, they are all insider informations, but you should know about it, that we get information from the informants. suppose आपका business है, you have a business, and there is some of your brother or your friend, you know, who is opposing you for your business, or who is your enemy. So generally those enemy, they comes to us and tells what fraudulent activities you are doing in your business. So generally such informants we have insider informants, like उसी कंपनी का अगर आप हो, आपका कोई अकाउंटेंट है जिसको सब पता है आप क्या फ्रॉड कर रहे हो, आपने कल अकाउंटेंट को फायरिंग कर लिया बहुत ज्यादा कि तुम काम नहीं करते, ये नहीं, तुम्हारा ये बकवास है, वो बकवास है, उसको गुस्सा आ गया, वो क्या करेगा, वो मेरे पास आ जाएगा कि देखिए ये कंपनी है, इसका ये सब फ्रॉडुलेंट चीजें है। वो सोचेगा जाने दो, बॉस को हो जाने तो जेल, मुझे ऐसा बोलता है। See, just a random examples, but this is how the informants are made, you know. Then we get so much information from the people surrounding them कि इसका ये चल रहा है, उसका। Some are professional informants, वो होते ही है informant, मतलब वो आएंगे, आपके बिजनेस की सारी एक्टिविटी पता कर लेंगे और जाके जीएसटी ऑफिसर को बोल देंगे भैया इसका ये चल रहा है, चल रहा है। Why informants? What is the use of informant? You can also become informant. इन्फॉर्मेंट को जो भी अमाउंट रिकवर हो जाता है गवर्नमेंट किटी का, उसका कुछ परसेंटेज मिलता है। मतलब अगर आपने इंफॉर्मेशन दे दिया गवर्नमेंट को कि इन्होंने 1 करोड़ का टैक्स इवेजन किया है और मेरे पास ये एविडेंसेस है, सो आपका पूरा ये लिया जाएगा, आपके एविडेंसेस जो भी है लिए जाएंगे, रेड की जाएगी, उसमें 1 करोड़ की रिकवरी अगर हो गई तो 10 लाख आपको दिए जाएंगे एज अ रेम्यूनरेशन और एज अ इन्फॉर्मेंट्स मनी विच इज लीगली गिवन टू द इन्फॉर्मेंट। लाइक 10% दिया जाता है, 5 to 10% दिया जाता है।
So does it anything have to deal with the whistleblower?
या विसल ब्लोअर होते हैं। अब आप चोरी करोगे तो कोई तो बताएगा ना, सच बताएगा आप चोरी कर रहे हो, तो वो विसल ब्लोअर हो गया। सो yes, we use whistleblower, we use informants, we use our own tactics, we use digital data, we use every mean to find out the culprits. And we have to know, don't you think that as a common man, you think whatever you have paid to someone, he's just using it for his own purpose. Will you give it money to anyone? आपने तो अविश्वास से दे दिया ना, भैया ये ले लो, जीएसटी मेरा गवर्नमेंट को दे दो, उसने भरा नहीं, तो एज अ कॉमन मैन तो I should rebel against it, but no common man knows about it. Any questions? Next.
Yeah, Anushri, I also wanted to check once that are there any standard operating practices or any financial analysis or maybe some automatic intelligence or any softwares via which just by going through the softwares, their financial information, you probably reach to a conclusion, okay, this is probably vulnerable, or this is the possibility where if we start inquiring about this company, there is a possibility of there is a leakage of revenue.
Yes. So in our system, which is only accessible to the higher level officers, we have all the information about the non-payment of tax, who has not paid, like up 6 months, 3 months, 12 months, who was paying suppose 50,000 rupees and suddenly dropped down to 10,000, 1,000 rupees. So all that data comes to us. Then some industries where the tax evasion is very rampant, like the decoration agencies, this marriage halls and them,
Right.
their data, it is readily available. The targeted agencies are there whose data is readily available to us. But the entire data we have to sit and scrutinize, क्योंकि क्या होता है बहुत बार actually business down होता है लोगों का. So it is, the data is just a computer is giving some information, but we have to recheck it from our various sources. So that is our job. But yes, we do have that digital input data.
Okay.
Yes.
Our coordinator, our course coordinator, Dr. Mayur Vyas is also in the session. Our student council general secretary is also in the session. Mayur sir, would you like to speak something?
Sure, definitely, sir. First of all, Anushri madam, it's great to have you here on this platform along with us, and we are so thankful to you, because I can understand in the current time, March just ended and We are on 17th April today, and GST is rather round the clock nowadays throughout the calendar. So in the middle of all the busy schedule and all the pressurized work schedules, you have taken the time out and you have spoken to our students. We are really obliged and we are really grateful to you, and we really appreciate this.
Just want to tell you one thing. Actually, in biodata, I have mentioned I was in GST. Now I am on Mumbai International Airport as Deputy Commissioner. So I'm behind the gold smugglers now and not the smugglers.
Wow, that sounds so exciting and adventurous also.
Yes, that's very adventurous. That is more adventurous than finding the GST people. So I am in different world now on international airport, and along with the international gold smugglers, not even the local GST heads.
They just don't work individually. It's like the rackets or the cartels that you are nailing and tracing them. That's really great. It's really feel great on a Saturday morning to speak to somebody who is doing such an exciting thing on daily basis. And once again, I tell you this, that we are really grateful that you have joined.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
And we are thankful to Lokesh also for getting this contact.
Yes, I hope the queries are solved or the conceptual clarity is there, because from government side, we expect every common man. These are not, of course, common man because they are into the course and they know all the law. But you also keep educating the people about GST. See, common man, he doesn't know anything. I mean, he just goes and pays the bill and comes back home, and then the fraud happens at certain different level. So we really want to save the common man from GST frauds, because it is the common man from whom the tax has been collected, and it is not. And the rich people are someone, so they are using their money, and so this should not happen. The common man should be aware about the frauds. Actually,
stealing from the common man should be stopped, and
yes,
should be punished.
That is our main purpose, basically.
Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to us. And Lokesh sir, please carry on with the.
Any more questions, guys? Meet, Drumil, Khushi. Any more questions?
You just ask me any questions. I am ready. I mean, आपने देखा, मैंने तो सब कुछ बता दिया आपको. हम रेड कैसे डालते हैं, हम कैसे सर्च करते हैं, कैसे हम रेकी करते हैं, how the रेकीज are done. रेकी करते करते तो हमने इतने सारे रेस्टोरेंट का खाना खाया है, क्या बताऊं मैं आपको. कि हमें पता तो चलता है कि कितना एक्चुअल में ले रहे हैं, कितना चार्ज कर रहे हैं, कितना बड़ा होटल है, और कि कितने लोग आते हैं और कितना इनका इनकम होगा, और एक्चुअली ये पे कितना कर रहे हैं. तो हाँ, बताइए.
Yes, ma'am. Is there any option to take our money from GST portal?
Option for taking our money from GST portal, मतलब रिफंड का पूछ रहे हैं आप?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, I am doing this on Amazon. Right? So I take my input credit at 18%, and I am making bill at 12%. Like I am paying 12% tax, right? So ma'am, मेरे GST portal पर always समझो कि थोड़ा बहुत तो रहता है मेरा money. So is there any option to take our money from GST portal to my bank account?
Yeah. That is allowed. You contact your division. You see which division and commissionerate you fall into. You go there, apply it, and then in cash credit you can get it back.
Okay. Is there any limit?
Some efforts. You have to take some effort. You have to go to the office and file it in person, and then apply for it. Then cash credit will come to you. No problem. And go through this website, www.gst.gov.in. Here you will get all this information that your unit falls under which division, which commissionerate. That information you will get on this www.gst.gov.in.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, one question which is common amongst people. Why is petroleum not under GST?
Why petrol is not under GST? Because petrol is like a huge source of income for state governments, and if that comes under GST and if it is shared with the central government, then many states were reluctant that their major source of income will go, and their taxation system or their financial backbone will collapse. सो ये जीएसटी काउंसिल में जब सब बैठते थे तो जीएसटी काउंसिल में सारे स्टेट के चीफ मिनिस्टर्स भी बैठते थे. तो नो स्टेट वाज विलिंग टू शेयर petrol into the GST and to share it along with central government. So that's the reason, but that's okay. You know, so many negotiations happened for last 10 years that they all came into this conclusion. So this is the GST council ka decision hai, so we follow that. That's it.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, if there is no GST for petrol, then why is it increasing like at an exorbitant rate?
Yeah, because we have freed it from our clutches, no? Like we are देखो क्या होता है, एक just a common simplified thing, ईरान या सऊदी अरेबिया या कहीं से जहां से भी पेट्रोल आता है हमारे पास, तो एक इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स होते हैं प्राइस के. सो अब तक क्या होता था कि चाहे जितना भी प्राइस इंक्रीज हो सऊदी अरेबिया में जो जहां से पेट्रोल आ रहा है, we used to give lot of subsidy on that petrol, and so the petrol prices used to go down. जैसे अगर 60 रुपीस का पेट्रोल है, जहां से ईरान से सऊदी अरेबिया से सप्लाई कम हो गया तो 60 का 90 रुपीस पेट्रोल हो गया. बट क्या होता था, इंडियन गवर्नमेंट यूज्ड टू गिव सब्सिडी ऑफ 30 रुपीस एंड यूज्ड टू कीप द प्राइस लोअर एट 60 रुपीस. यू आर गेटिंग दिस पॉइंट? सब्सिडी समझ में आती है आपको कि गवर्नमेंट ऊपर का जितना भी पैसा है वो गवर्नमेंट पे करता है. अभी क्या हो रहा है, इतना ज्यादा डेप्ट हो गया कंट्री को, इतना ज्यादा कर्जे में गई कंट्री वो सब्सिडी की वजह से, दैट मनमोहन सिंह गवर्नमेंट दैट टाइम डिसाइडेड टू विड्रॉ दिस सब्सिडी एंड लेट द प्राइसेस ऑफ पेट्रोल फ्लक्चुएट अकॉर्डिंग टू द इंटरनेशनल सप्लाई चेन. सो क्या हो गया कि अभी गवर्नमेंट का कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है प्राइसेस पे. हम लोग गवर्नमेंट को बोलते हैं कि पेट्रोल का इतना प्राइस है, बढ़ रहा है, आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो. गवर्नमेंट कुछ नहीं कर सकता. जो बाहर जहां से पेट्रोल आ रहा है, जहां से हम इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं पेट्रोल, वहां का अगर सप्लाई कम हो गया तो यहाँ का प्राइस बढ़ेगा. अगर वहां से सप्लाई बहुत ज्यादा आ गया तो यहाँ का प्राइस कम हो जाएगा. आर यू गेटिंग और नो? आई मीन लेट मी सिंप्लीफाई इट मोर.
Hello, ma'am.
हाँ.
So, ma'am, in order to reduce the foreign debt, so is it can this be the reason for the increase in prices?
Yes. Increase in no, that is related to supply. See, if you attack on Iran and Iran से supply कम हो गया तो यहाँ इंडिया का पेट्रोल 90 से 180 रुपीस हो जाएगा. हाँ, try to understand the suppliers. It depends on the supplier. That's it. Because it is now open. It is not closed. It is not subsidized.
Okay, ma'am.
तो गवर्नमेंट को गाली देना बंद करिए. गवर्नमेंट ने पैसे बचाए हैं बहुत सारे सब्सिडी निकाल के इसके. In fact, the government is using all that subsidized money into making good roads and homes, and rather than just keeping the prices of petrol low, it is just using that money for the better purpose actually.
Ma'am, ma'am, if we purchase goods from an unregistered dealer, so there are a lot of unregistered dealers, right? So what about the GST on that?
Unregistered, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, don't pay GST to them at all. If you get the invoice, first of all, whatever you purchase, you ask for invoice. Asking for invoice is must. The first step to save common man is that common man should ask for bill. Invoice मांगो पहले. जो भी खरीदते हो उसका invoice चाहिए. Invoice मिल गया, उस पे अगर GST नंबर नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है कहीं पे भी, GST मत पे करो. Because that GST will go in his pocket. He's not going to file any return or not going to give any money to the government. Many people, fraudulent people, what they are doing, they have not registered anywhere, no GST number, nothing, but they are generating invoices and writing down GST so and so. आप देख लेते हो, अच्छा 18% GST, whatever 12% GST, you pay the money. Entire GST is going in his pocket. He is not paying it to the government. So first thing, ask for invoice. Second thing, on invoice, GST number has to be there. If GST number is not there, don't pay GST. That's it.
Ma'am, can
हाँ,
you throw some light on how people sell dummy bills and provide goods at lower rate?
how people prepare dummy bills.
Yes, ma'am.
वो तो पूछ लो किसी से भी, कोई भी बता देगा वो कंप्यूटर पे कितना डिफिकल्ट है डमी बिल बनाना. It is
Ma'am,
very,
but it's easy to catch also, right?
yeah, it is very easy to catch, easier to catch, easy to prepare, easier to catch.
What are the consequences then?
You get arrested, sit in the jail. What to do?
Okay.
What more you want?
Any more questions, guys?
जीएसटी इवेडर्स में प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है, देखो आप अगर रास्ते के गुंडे हो, आपको जेल में डाला जाएगा, उसको कुछ नहीं लगेगा, वो बोलेगा आज मैं रास्ते पे सो रहा हूँ, आज मैं जेल में सो रहा हूँ, एक ही है. बट यू नो जीएसटी इवेडर्स, they have a very respectable position in the society. They are apparently more rich, and you know they roam with good cars, having good houses, and ऐसे लोगों को फिर जेल में बैठना बहुत ज्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है. Rather than a goon, these people who are economic offenders, they find it very difficult to sit in a jail.
All right, students, should I sum it up? I hope the questions are being answered. Yeah, Meet, please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. One last question, sir, if you
Sure,
say
sure.
so.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Ma'am, one question I would like to ask. Ma'am, you told about under the search and seizure. So, ma'am, specifically under the PML Act, the Prevention of Money Laundering, it is mentioned that the attachment of property, or if you know, or any records, which is also mentioned under CB Act also. So, ma'am, that requires magistrate's order. So, ma'am, I think taking magistrate order and before entering the property, I think, ma'am, it takes 1 day. So, ma'am, just one opinion I want of yours. Ma'am, if taking magistrate orders take 1 or 2 days, ma'am, it is not easy to dispose of property, you know, before the magistrate order comes, before the authority enters or seizes it actually.
No, you are mixing two acts actually. PMLA Act, the governing authority is Enforcement Directorate, ED. Okay, and GST Act is different. Here we are seizure is done by order of commissioners. There in PMLA Act, Money Laundering Act, under ED there is magistrate's order for this. So they are totally different authorities, and we are different authorities. Okay, so ED आप जो सुनते हो वो that they govern this PMLA Act actually.
But ma'am, one fact, ma'am, I would like to tell. Under PML Act, the search and seizure is mentioned according to the Income Tax Act 1961. It's directed as an IT Act. And ma'am, then description is such like magistrate order. So that is why I was confused in it.
Acha. No, that's magistrate's order must be required, but then magistrates are also like they also cooperate with the ED people, no? Whichever way they want to because they are also government authority. Magistrate can't say कि मैं आज busy हूँ, मैं ये हूँ, मैं वो हूँ. They have their own times kept for these search and seizure things. Actually, attachment of property comes at a very later stage, frankly speaking. Attachment, see, suppose you are a businessman, I am an officer, suppose. I feel that you have evaded 1 crore tax, but you have not evaded any tax. Suppose, let us take it reverse. You have not evaded a single rupees. Okay. And as a GST officer, I feel you have evaded 1 crore rupees. And if I raid you, then I have to prove that you have evaded the tax. The government authority has to prove that you have evaded the tax. And for that, whatever I feel, I have to give you a notice first, which is called as a show cause notice. Okay, then on show cause notice, you submit your submissions, and then finally the adjudication order is issued. According to the order, you have to pay the tax or we drop the charges. That we suppose in show cause, after show cause notice, you come to us, you submit the documents, and we find out अरे ये तो बिल्कुल ठीक है, 1 रुपए का भी टैक्स इसने नहीं चोरी किया है. So then we drop the proceedings. But if we feel कि नहीं, we have so and so evidences where we can prove that this person has evaded the tax, then we issue adjudication order, and in that order it is written whatever thing money you are liable to pay to the government. Now you have to pay to us, pay to the government. Now if you fail to pay, then only attachment of property comes into picture, right? So attachment of property comes at a very later stage, not at the beginning. जैसे आप search and seizure and attachment of property एक साथ मत लीजिए आप. Search and seizure is the first stage. You go, you search the place, you lock the place, you seal the place, you seize the material, whichever is available at that time to the searching premises. Then show cause notice is issued, then you represent yourself, then adjudication order is issued, and then you pay the tax. If you don't pay the tax, then the confiscation of your property or things starts.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So that's it. That's about it. I guess the students would be more than happy to see such amazing answers today from class, more than let's say last 1 hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Anushri, for this lovely and enthralling session. I guess a few of our faculty members were also there in this session, and at least from my side, whatever I have been exposed to GST, we have never experienced this governance side of GST. We have been using phrases there. What do you mean by exactly interest in the interest of revenue?
In the interest of revenue, yes.
So I guess it's nothing but we have actually consolidated what a person who can speak in the interest of revenue. Thank you so much on behalf of
Thank you, Lokesh.
Usha from Gandhi College. And we hope you keep snatching people at Mumbai airport, your international gold smuggling racket, and we wish you all the best in that amazing work which you have taken up. And hopefully maybe by next 2-3 years, as you grow up on your hierarchy, we will also have a session with, say, saying coffee commissioner. I wish you all the very best in that.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you very much, Lokesh. Yes, thank you. Thank you.